Great Ace Attorney!
Hello!
Chronicles! So, last time we just learned about the jury system. And how it works. I am not enthused.
Very well. The court acknowledges the change to the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare.
So, don't worry, you get to call out the jury sometimes on their bullshit, so that's always fun.
That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed I did. Couldn't help it.
Hold it!
Sorry, I got distracted.
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting on the roof deck, were you?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was on the roof seat, sir. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absentmindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly, that huge giant knife. A grim sight indeed. Actually, we don't have the knife in it.
That didn't help me at all.
That appears to have made everyone even more dubious than Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh, yes, sir.
Is this the knife you were looking for?
Oh, good grief, yes, that's it. That's the very one, sir.
Is that...
I know it.
Yes, Counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly, like a stake through the heart.
That is a blade that of considerable size, Counsel.
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is embezzled. Prominently with a certain initial. The letter M. Which seems oddly familiar.
You're gonna kill someone, don't do it with an incriminating knife.
Please no. I have several iconic knives that people can spot. Gary, Zephyranthus.
He names his knives.
Yeah. M for Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, probably. Take your pick. Seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused.
No conclusive but certainly compelling counsel. murder weapon has been entered into the court record. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
You will wait, lady.
Yeah, God, get you scared to be a fucking bitch, dude.
Where is that M?
Are we sure?
Or it could be a W.
For Wumbo.
He wumbo, she wumbos, we wumbo. It's the basics of wumbology.
It's a big knife, so it could be set to W for Wumbo.
An ornate letter M. Undeniably, Mr. Magnus McGilded's initials.
And it's beautifully gilded, too. Must be very valuable, I should think.
That looks like a W.
Yeah.
Ah!
What is it?
Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change... This could change everything!
W?
Yes. This is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all, but what I'm sure of is that this is an M.
Oh. Well, that idea was quickly squashed.
I wanna open them. This part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I just don't really like blades.
Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung on his waist.
Well, that's ironic. It's not the blade. It's not a blade. That's Cosmo's sword. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. See the blade looks like. Yep.
That's a murder weapon, alright.
Yep, good for some... gave him the old stabbing.
I mean, there's no denying that the man got stabbed.
Yeah, that is a very... aorta-piercing type blow. Yep, that looks like a lot of blood.
It surely is blood, the victim's.
Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood.
Yeah.
Wow, blood looks like blood. Who would have ever guessed?
I didn't realize different races were, had to... Oh god, racism would be so much worse. If that were true.
If all British people had actual blue blood.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just... We're only just arriving here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yes, I do understand. I know they got here and immediately got thrown in a courtroom. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Ah, juror number 2. Go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Dispose of the rubbish.
No!
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today, and I cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion.
God. Not again.
We're out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. That is how math works.
Yep.
Luckily, there's always at least
Had it.
one reasonable one.
Every time I press these witnesses for more information, just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark.
I suppose we'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may, fry.
We mustn't give up the hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back.
But... Alright, I'll keep trying. Can't give up. Just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again.
I don't think we're gonna get anything out of him because he didn't actually see it.
I accidentally didn't mean to.
Maybe we can call him. Oh, okay.
I still haven't questioned this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor, he was.
By the passenger. Obviously, you are referring to the victim, Mr. Mason the brickmaker.
And the other passenger had the knife in his hand like this.
Objection! By the other passenger, obviously you are referring to the accused. Mr. Magnus McGilded.
And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What? That... They were sitting next to each other.
Yes, juror number 5, do I take it that you too?
As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me.
Seriously, this guy is fucking biased. Why is he in the jury?
It won't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, I thought. Facts, though I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say. Gee up now, Silverblaze. The finish is in sight. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. That's too kind, sir.
This is too unkind, sir. Which now means 5 jurors have agreed to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm the creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench to get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. The Gilded Park, it's called.
She's biased.
The gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put such a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. That's right, a man like this wouldn't stab anyone, surely. Mother, may we go to the Gilded Public Library later to borrow some more books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? The philanthropist, Magnus McGilded, has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all the wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What?
Stone the crows.
McGilded lent money at extortionate rates of interest to his victim, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Liquid. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have to make use of a public omnibus service? Not saying that. The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save a considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debt.
Good gracious.
The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling of which to repay his debts. In the end, his pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken away from him: his life. By the merciless philanthropist, pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it.
Hold it! had something briefly.
Sasato.
You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilden, but where is the evidence to support your claim?
Pray forgive the discourtesy for filling my hollowed chalice in the court of law.
Aha! There it is! Lord Von Seek's hollow chalice!
How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
Ah! As a judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. As the debtor's ledger, which details all monies. What?
No.
All monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh.
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
A marvelous toast, counsel. I'll gladly accept this new evidence. Ah yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum.
Hmm. Hmm. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secret London gentries.
Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? It's evidence, of course we do.
It's not as though we know any London gentries personally, so it is. Apparently. From our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I'm sure we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Honestly, you never know.
Let's see what we find.
I don't think he's that dumb, but... Gosh, it's kind of full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Ah, goodness.
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see that they... Here?
Bruce? Fair play. That means something to me. Oh.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but it could be very useful information.
Same text, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Ellipses. Well, it would seem that I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, this is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little part, too. What a scoundrel. Still. Maybe it's all for the best.
Wait a minute, but...
I don't stand for nonsense.
Wait a minute. Let's think of this a little more before...
Yeah.
We just failed, didn't we? Oh, what did I do wrong? That was it. Last juror's decision.
Yeah, no. This is where... according to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all the members of a jury have concluded the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the proceeding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That is what it says here.
The final verdict. It's over then.
Oh! There's a footnote, though.
A footnote?
However, the defense... We can appeal and call out the jury on their post.
I don't like him because he's rich.
Yeah. We have to have supporting evidence to call out someone on their bullshit, but...
All 6 men...
Oh yeah. All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case.
Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision.
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial.
Objection!
By delivering my final verdict, I trust there is no objections. I object because the jury is biased as fuck.
Mrs. Sato, just tell me one thing.
Oh, yes?
You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your encyclopedia for British law? Or the defense? What was it gonna say next?
Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summonation examination of the jurors at this point.
Summonation? Examination?
Objection!
A summonation examination? From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected?
Ah,
Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Many modern texts in British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
oh.
What even is it, Mrs. Sato? The so-called summonation examination.
Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it. Oh, she keeps closing her book.
You would demand the right to proceed before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nepalese.
Alright, Mr. Naruhito, I think I understand. It seems that under the procedure, we would be able to appeal to the member of the jury.
To do what exactly?
Appeal to them and change their meaning and reverse their decision. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions?
Yes, in times go by, the baristas would use the examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But the procedure became something of a formality with no practical reality, so it fell out of use. I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several.
Yeah, we have to get half of them at least to change their minds. For it to work.
No self-respecting defense barrister would ever assert their right to try in this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct.
Urgh.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhito?
Summonation examination. Our last possible option. We assert our right to carry out or admit defeat.
You're gonna lose automatically if you don't.
Yeah, I know. The defense wishes to assert the right of a summonation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standard of judicial procedure. Summonation examination is an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
If it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could provide it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summonation examination.
This is madness. This is Sparta.
Foreman, you are in the remainder. Are you in the remainder of the jury ready?
Well, I'm not, There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so...
All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision.
On what grounds?
You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty.
Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular, not to mention. No mention was made before this. No mention was made
I think-
before.
1, 2... I don't think we can win over 6. She has actually a pretty good point. the guy being rich isn't a good reason, so 1, 2, and 3 seem easy.
I think 5 also seems bullshit because he's just mad. One of his carriages he owns is used.
Yeah. I don't really hold with all this justification. She went through after looking at the evidence and she said, I found this evidence pretty damning. Let's look at it. He has bloodstained gloves. The knife has an M. I'm pretty sure he's guilty.
Yeah, and he was the only one in the cabin with the guy.
That seems to have thrown the jurors off.
It seems none of them have experienced this before. So, yeah. 4 and 6 have valid points, but...
We could probably get the rest.
Yeah.
A defense prosecutor... Defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Just maybe. Maybe the opportunity I've been looking for to turn this trial around.
So it be then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilded guilty of the most serious crime.
Honestly, I find the jury system to be a waste of time. I actually prefer how it functions in Ace Attorney 1, 2, 3, and Apollo Justice, as well as that of my brain. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Those handled them really well. I do not like this juror system.
Yeah, the jury just gives more voices. That's like annoying.
There was no one else in. There was no one else in. How do I do that? There were no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. Yeah, that we can argue. We can fucking. I think we can put that argument to rest. I have simply typed and collaborated all the statements made thus far and driving a logical conclusion. And drawn a logical. Yeah.
She's solid.
Yeah, she's solid.
I feel she's actually really reasonable here.
Scoundrel stabbing the poor man on the floor. It's Baker's belief. On the floor, he was on the chair. But that's not really an argument.
I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this, though.
Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they?
Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get those 6 people to change their minds. I have to throw everything I can at them. I have to use some very persuasive language.
Just a moment, Mr. Nora. According to my book, that is not quite how it works.
Oh? I thought it was going to be... I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defense.
Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says.
But then...
They've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become.
What on earth am I supposed to do?
You have to pin their arguments against each other. Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then?
Well, from what I can understand, the key to the procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments.
Okay, we're going to end this part here. Bye!
Bye.